Haffaday, my name is Catherine Nadeau, and this is my ELL assessment portfolio for ED662, Second Language Testing and Evaluation. So starting off with my table of contents, I will start with my grammar and vocabulary test, followed by my reading test, writing test, then my speaking and listening test. So beginning with the grammar and vocabulary test, you can see here that it is for my third graders, and you will see that with every test I focus on a different grade level, and this is because I am an elementary ESL teacher, and so I thought I should create an assessment that pertains to each of my different grade levels. So for the intended outcomes here, students will be able to recognize and apply the vocabulary words that are listed. So for my knowledge questions, students will be finding the antonyms of vocabulary words. For understand, they will be filling in the sentences using the vocabulary words. And for the last three questions, the application portion, they have to create their own sentences using the vocabulary words. And then I include an answer key for each of my assessments. Okay. So for my context clues and reading comprehension test, this is the reading test and it is for my fourth graders. So again, I have my intended outcomes here and I state which Bloom's taxonomy levels each question follows. So for each of the portions here, the students have to read the passage and they answer the questions using their context clues. So for example, John adores his pet cockatiel. He thinks it's so cute, it flies around the house whenever John comes home. So for their understanding, a cockatiel is a type of, and so of course it says it flies around the house, so is it a dog, a fish, a mouse, something like that. So that's the first part, and then second part again, they just have to read about Jane's bad day and then answer the questions about that. And about Jane being anxious, and then for the last part is about Martin's bad day, and so they have to answer questions pertaining to Martin. And again, there is our answer key. For my writing test, it is for my fifth graders, and even in my ESL classroom, I usually do writing assessments more for my older kids, just because for my younger kids, it's a little harder when they can't even read. So for the writing test, those are my objectives. They have to be able to write in complete, grammatically correct sentences, and I actually did use this assessment with one of my groups of students, and it went really well. I was really happy with it. So they have to read the passage, and they write their answers here. And that's the same for both parts. And so I have a grading rubric, and this is because I feel like when it comes to grading writing answers, you can be very subjective as a teacher. So here I put a rubric so that it's easier to grade and grade more fairly. And I also have the option here for students to give their test questions to an AI platform such as ChatGPT, so that the answers may be a little more a little less subjective when it's not coming from me. Okay, and then lastly, I have my speaking and listening test. Those are my objectives. Also, this is for second graders and it focuses on nouns, verbs, and adjectives. So for the listening, the teacher will be the one talking and the students will be the ones answering the test. And this is something that can be done in a whole group as opposed to the speaking test, which is something that is done individually. And that's something that I do a lot in my classroom is I do many one-on-one assessments. So I will call the students to the back of the class and I ask them the questions and they answer. And I will write it down so that I can go back and grade it later. So there's my answer key. So those are my 4 assessments for my portfolio, and what I really appreciated about this assignment was that I was able to explore the idea of creating assessments in different areas of literacy. Especially now that I'm an ESL teacher, I feel like these areas are something that I need to focus on more now, perhaps, than when I was a regular classroom teacher. Especially because back then the assessments I used were things made by my own team. As opposed to now, when I first came into the program, we did not have a real ESL program last year, so I kind of started from nothing, and I had to create everything for myself and find all the resources for myself. So this assignment was really helpful in that aspect. And like I said, I did use some of these assessments already in the classroom, and I was very happy with the results. And so yeah, I really appreciated this assignment, and I felt like it was really helpful. Thank you so much.